we deliver customer managed claims, and claims within insurance at the minute focuses inside out. It focuses on the internal workflow with insurers, the data silos, the processes, and the customer. What is pushed out to the customer for the claim is an afterthought. What we focus is on outside in. We focus on what does the customer have to do in a very simple, intuitive manner to deliver a claims file to the insurer that the insurer can then work with. And by taking that approach, we speed up a claims process that typically takes 30 days to something that takes 5 or 7 days. Our fastest claims process through the platform are under 3 hours. We improved claims handler productivity, where they were dealing with typically, one claim every hour. They can now deal with one claim every 6 minutes. So the claims process as it exists today is a pretty bad process. So bang, something's happened. All any of us want as consumers of insurance is when something happens, we want the insurer to put us back into the position that we were in prior to the incident as quickly as possible. The reality is the current claims process, as we call it, the claims paradigm, it's a phone call to your insurer where you are put through the mill, you're asked so many questions, and you will typically have 6 touch points with an insurer over a claim life cycle, whether that be forms that they send out to you that you have to complete, whether that be phone calls, but there's roughly 6 touch points. Bad ones can go up to 20 touch points. But what it is you as the customer have to fit their process, and their process are designed around systems that are 12, 14 years old, and they're the youngest ones. Older homegrown claim systems can be in excess of 20 years old. So the process is enormous. The hoops that you have to jump through as a customer are enormous. It can become very adversarial and confrontational in addition to the incident. And there was a report that was released about 2 months ago from CB Insights that said 40% of customers will leave their insurer after a claim. Now in automotive, we know it's a lot higher, it's nearly 50%. So that's the current customer experience. What we have done is to turn that around and say, via a mobile, you can be sent a link, SMS or email, click on the link, and you're taken through a very simple process. Who are you? What happened? Where and when did it happen? Upload some evidence, pictures of the damage, whatever it may be, and then the last thing is the summary, and then that's the claim completed. Now, the data set that we capture at day 1 enables the initial 7-day process in the claims process to be condensed down to less than an hour. And this is where it then gets interesting, and from a hackathon perspective, where it will get really interesting. We can then use the data that we've captured in that first hour to plug in AIs, fraud detection, a video selfie, tell us what happened. We can listen to the tone of voice, we can look at things that the person's saying, the structure, we can take what they're saying, analyze it for fraud. We can also analyze it for priority. So I've just crashed into a Maserati that was driven by John Terry, Premiership footballer or anyone else, and the ambulance got called. At the minute, in insurance, that is treated the same as I was pulling out the car park and I scraped my rear wing and I'm driving a Vauxhall Nova. Both are treated exactly the same. There is no prioritisation. Which one should an insurer get their hands on more quickly? The one with an ambulance with a Maserati and a Premiership footballer should be P1. At the minute, if the Nova claim came in first, that would be dealt with first, and the Maserati one would be dealt with second. So there's a number of things that you can use AI as now, but for any hackathon users, when you think about the claims journey, you've got to think about it from the perspective of the customer and about digital, because they are the top two headings on any insurer's agenda. How can we deliver services that are more customer facing, that are more intuitive, that are simple to use, that will benefit us as the insurer to do that with their claims time? Because for an insurer, every day that a claim is open, in automotive for example, they're paying for an extra day of car hire while your car's being fixed. They may be paying extra fees to third parties that are doing things within the claim. The garage that has the vehicle, every day that it takes to be, it's waiting in a repair shop to be repaired. That repair shop will charge the insurer £20 to £50 a day just for storing it, on top of the charge for the courtesy vehicle. Wouldn't it be better if the customer could say, actually, here are 3 repairers, here's the availability of those repair shops. As the customer, I get to choose where I take it. And the thing that's most important to most customers, I want my car back quickly. So give the tools to the customer to define the journey they want to go on. And by doing that, it helps the insurer. It reduces the insurer costs. And other simple things. Allianz released a report, I think it was in May of last year, May 2016, and they looked at all of their global claim centres. 50%, half of all the calls coming into them was customers wanting a status check. What's happening? What's next? Where's my car? No one's rung me, because there's no communication. So, whether it be your home, your most valuable asset, or your car, your second most valuable asset, when an insurer is dealing with your claim, they expect you as the customer to ring them. That causes anger amongst consumers, it causes frustration, and within the insurers, it extends the claim cycle time. So we've advocated an Amazon approach. So as a consumer, my car is in the workshop. Why doesn't the workshop tell me what's happening with my car? Email, just buttons. Don't ask them to fill in forms, don't ask them to use systems. Just send them a message, and in that message you have some hot buttons that they can press. Amazon is, we've got your order, we've picked it, it's dispatched, it's in transit, it's delivered. Just communicate with the customer digitally, let them know. Don't put the onus on the customer to do the work. Do the work for them, and it stops conflict, and it does that to the claim cycle time. So from a hackathon perspective, there are so many areas of a claim that teams can look at to work on improving the claim cycle. The first area, think about, there's like say 3 distinct areas in a claim. First area, the notification. What is it that the customer needs to do to give the insurer a richer set of data to help them submit details around their claim? Whether it be an iPhone that's been dropped down the toilet, or smash screen, whether it be a gadget, whether it be a white good, whether it be water coming through a ceiling, whether it be a crash car, whether it be, I've got a health claim, a dental claim. There's so many different claim types. So at the notification stage, what can the teams do for the customer to enable the customers to submit more relevant data to the insurer in a simpler fashion? That's the first thing. And if anyone builds anything good, we'd love to talk to them and we'll plug it into our platform. The second thing, when you move from the initial notification, the FNOD, first notification of loss, into the core claim, what happens around a dental claim? What data may be needed by the dentist, or might the dentist need to provide back to the customer and the insurer? At that core claim stage, what is it that we can do to pass data between all those parties that are involved in the core claim? The customer, the insurer, the repairer, the dentist, any third parties, any legal people, whoever it may be. There's an information workflow there. What can be passed around between the different parties so that it makes it easier for all the parties to know exactly what's going on? And then the third and final area is the settlement. How much are you going to pay out for my car because it's a write-off, it needs replacing? How much are you paying out for my phone? Or are there options around, we're not going to pay you for your phone, we're going to tell you to choose a phone from one of these 3 suppliers, or we're going to give you a voucher. So the settlement, again, think about it from a customer perspective. What is it that would help the customer, to send me a check for a replacement phone, I've still got to go out and buy the phone. Send me a check for a replacement car, I've still got to go out and buy a car. Customers absolutely hate buying cars. So again, what is it that can be done that gives the customer options? It's always about customer choice. It's always about focusing on what the customer can do. And if you get it right for the customer, by default, you get it right for the insurer. It makes it easier for the insurer to do the things that they need to do. So the teams can look at it from either side, look at it from the customer perspective, but also what's the benefit to the insurer. If it only benefits the customer and it doesn't benefit the insurer, you don't have an offering. You've got to benefit all the parties involved.